freshman at Britain, we had our science textbooks. I noticed that they were recycled from Washington High School. And that made me feel really just like degraded as a student. And it actually tells me that my school's statute is not respected at all. If you were to be voted, how could you prevent this from happening? And how would you give our school an equal opportunity as the other school?
Go.
When you actually said that question, I thought about it a different way. I thought about it as another school sharing with your school. That's how I saw it, but I absolutely understand how you see it that way, and I also see it that way too. We have to change that by making every school as worthy as every other school. Every school has like the same opportunity and should be always on the same level as every other school to not only share in textbooks, but also share in school facilities and being like a whole school community. So I totally understand, but I also really want to encourage the sharing among our district, because we're a district. We're the San Francisco Unified School District.
Well, my solution to this kind of thing again would be to, as much as possible, within the compliance of state law, which requires certain textbooks and so forth to be used, unfortunately, put these decisions in the hands of teachers, the individual school site councils, with advice from the students and parents. So teachers under this plan would have total control of the budget in each school and be able to decide, okay, how much of this budget do we want to spend on textbooks? Do we want to save some money by buying the used textbooks from Washington High School, or is it important that we have, brand new textbooks and we're willing to put a little bit more money for that? That would be kind of a decision that I would like to make at the school level, so that you as students would have the most possible input into that. And I think that would result in better decisions being made than a bunch of bureaucrats handing down edicts on the sort of thing from above.
So equity is one of our priorities on the school board. And as a current school board member, I'm actually embarrassed that you were receiving books from another school. So I apologize as a school board member, because that's not okay. So I take ownership of that. I don't think it's appropriate. This is exactly what the Williams lawsuit is about. And we had to get sued in order for us to be mindful about how we distribute, whether we distribute supplies, and books, and facilities, and everything else that should be across the board equitable. And we did do that. And I say we in the collective, this was before we were on the school board, but we're implementing our responsibility in accordance with the Williams lawsuit. And again, I apologize that happened to me, and it should not happen, and we'll make sure that it doesn't happen again. And this is why technology to me is even more important.
I may agree with Tiger on that, because it's the Williams lawsuit that talks about the quality of the material we receive as a student in school. And it should be at the highest level, and those students should have everything that's low quality than other students across the district. So again, I apologize, and I definitely feel that shouldn't happen to AMT or to anyone else in your school or to any of our students across the district. And I know we have a fantastic book program that makes certain that all of our schools have the appropriate materials. And that's something that we could investigate. Please don't let that drop. I know you told us here today about getting really today, but also you check back with us, because that should be protected.
How you feel? Whether I win or lose, reach out to me. Next time you have a situation, we go wrong. Please. I win or lose, because this ain't even that important to me, as important as how you feel right now. So please, set it down.
Yes. It's a symptom of a bigger problem, which is who's minding the store, right? Who's watching and making sure we're getting it put back over the long term. So
This is a symptom of a larger problem. We have to make sure that the board is owning and accountable to and getting feedback over time. And maybe there's a situation where recycling textbooks would be okay in a recycling program around something else. And maybe we're going to go to a system where we don't use textbooks at all, where it's technology, right? We need to be thinking about this as a whole system and getting feedback to that.
Well, it is an issue of sensitivity, and I am really happy to see the two commissioners agree with that, and they're going to look at the accountability issue, because the message is that we're getting old textbooks. What is Washington High School getting? Obviously, it's good for thinking new ones. And it is good, maybe if you have a policy, so we're all going to recycle the textbooks, and it's all for the green of San Francisco Unified School District, and you might get something here and there, everybody was cheering that would be okay. But I guess the bright spot is that what I understand from my niece who's going to middle school, online textbooks are going to be more and more frequent. You get the book at school, but she doesn't have to bring it home, you just go home and get the lesson right online. So hopefully we'll move towards that, and this will become a non-issue. But I'm sorry that you had to have that experience.
I presume you feel bad about it because it was more than just an isolated incident. You're acutely sensitive to the differences that happen in some schools and other schools, and you're absolutely right about it. And it's intolerable. I started this debate saying it's going to take us over 3 decades to close the achievement gap, and that is just not a pace that we can tolerate, and we can't tolerate the slow pace at which we're looking at the difference between what's available at Berkeley and what's available at other schools. And as a school board member, I feel deeply committed to an absolute rigorous, ongoing, annual audit to make sure that what happens at Berkeley and what happens in Washington, access to supplies and equipment and resources and counselors and all the wonderful things that we need, that we have equity in this.
A couple of folks that we named the school board commissioners mentioned the Williams lawsuit, and it's important when you see something that's going on in your school that's wrong, to speak up. And in this case, it's probably legal. I mean, the fact is that there's a reason why there's an achievement gap, there's a reason why there's an education gap, and what you just shared is one example of it. Some people get good textbooks and some people get other textbooks. And we hopefully will change that because judges have said that's not right. But until we actually call those cases out, we investigate them, I'm really glad the commissioners are going to look into it. But we're not going to be able to get the change that we want. And so the most important thing that everybody here can do is to keep speaking out when situations like this happen, and hopefully some people will listen to the